Apparently, Phoenix are trying to trade her, and no one wants her. Apparently, nobody wants Alyssa Thomas. They have been trying they've been trying to offload her, and trade talks have gone cold. She is an old player on a long-term deal who you have to build around, who can't shoot.
Here's the thing. This isn't just talk. This is a real gut punch happening live. And we're talking about someone who was ranked the second best player in the whole WNBA just 2 years back. So when word gets out that no team wants to trade for her, that should shake the entire league. But here's the crazy part. Phoenix isn't struggling to trade Alyssa Thomas because teams are being choosy. They literally cannot find one team willing to take her contract. Not a single one. So what happened? How does a former all-WNBA first-team player go from elite to untouchable in under 2 years?
And this is Ben Simmons with a better attitude. That's just what she is. She's Ben Simmons with a better attitude. And that's not enough because that's a really good player. But there was always going to come a point in Ben Simmons' career where he just wasn't going to be good. He was going to fade out fast. Because if you cannot shoot the ball, if you can't shoot it, and then you're looking at the analytics as well. You're looking at all the assists and the playmaking numbers. They have Alyssa Thomas basically as one of the weaker playmakers in the league.
Picture Ben Simmons, but with a way better attitude. Harsh comparison, sure, but it actually fits perfectly. Remember why Simmons became impossible to trade in the NBA? Great athlete, smart player, elite passer, but he never built a jump shot. Now look at Alyssa Thomas. Her whole game is built on hustle, boards, and setting up teammates. But an outside shot? Never happened. And in today's WNBA, that's turning into a real problem. The league has changed fast.
This right here, the box score creation numbers. Box creation versus assists. Her box creation of everyone who's averaging more than 4 assists per game, she has the lowest box creation in the league. She has the lowest percentage of rim assists. She is getting assists of DHOs. She is literally getting assists of DHOs. And people are talking about her being the best playmaker. She is spamming DHOs. That's all she does. She spams DHOs and passes it side to side, and people are hitting shots. That is...
Now here's where things get ugly. There's a stat called box creation. Basically, it shows how much a player creates their own scoring chances versus just making the easy last pass. High numbers mean you're breaking defenders down. Low numbers mean you're riding someone else's wave. And guess what? Out of every player averaging 4+ assists this season, Alyssa Thomas has the lowest box creation score in the whole league. Dead last. That tells you her assists aren't coming from slick dribble moves or tight passing windows. They're coming from handoffs. She grabs the ball, hands it to a shooter running off a screen, and if they hit the 3, she gets the assist. Nothing wrong with that exactly, but it's not real playmaking either. And if you're paying someone max money to run your offense, you need more than a handoff machine who can't shoot from outside.
The Phoenix Mercury are a shit show. On and off the floor, it seems. They are in free fall. Their hidden gem, super or star signing rookie quit the team. I say Olivia Miles is not the best rookie ever. Olivia Miles is having the best rookie season ever. I think she's having a better season than Candace Parker. Sue me if you disagree. And
right now, the Phoenix Mercury are in full meltdown mode. Let's trace exactly how this team collapsed. They spent big assets to bring in both Alyssa Thomas and Sada Sabaly, all in on a title run. The plan was simple. Mix Thomas's passing and Sabaly's scoring with Kalia Copper and Diana Taurasi to form one stacked veteran lineup. Looked amazing on paper. Turned into chaos in real life. Copper and Thomas just never meshed last season. The spacing was cramped. The offense kept dying out. Sure, a couple strong playoff moments hid the cracks, but those cracks never actually closed. And now, Coppa's fallen off hard this year. Sabaly hardly suited up before leaving the team altogether. Meanwhile, Phoenix is left holding an aging Taurasi, a costly Dewana Bonner, and a completely stuck Alyssa Thomas on a max contract nobody wants to touch.
the downfall in real time of Alyssa Thomas. Her team is gone. Like, her team's done. They're in panic mode. They're in so much panic mode. There's talk of them trading for the worst contract in basketball history in Alana Smith. A max contract player averaging 4 points per game and playing no defense. A max contract player who averages 4 points per game and plays no defense. They're so desperate that they're rumored to be trying to trade.
Here's a situation that just keeps getting messier by the day. Sada Sabali was supposed to be one of Phoenix's cornerstone pieces going forward. Young, talented, able to play multiple spots on the floor. Instead, she's barely touched a basketball this season and has basically checked out on the team completely. And when your big free agent signing mentally shuts down before the season even really starts, that tells you everything you need to know about what's going on inside that locker room. Players talk. Agents talk. Word travels fast around this league when a franchise is falling apart. And right now, Phoenix has earned a reputation as the place where promising careers go to die. The front office gave away future assets, burned bridges with franchise legends, brought in expensive vets who never meshed, and now they're completely boxed in. They can't trade Thomas because nobody wants that contract. They can't rebuild because they gave up their draft capital. They can't run it back because the roster clearly doesn't work. This is basketball purgatory, and there's no clean way out. And here's the part that stings even more. The head coach is about to take the fall for all of it, and it's not even close to fair. Nick Tibbetts got this team to the WNBA Finals last year with a roster that had zero business being there. Brittany Griner was banged up. Natasha Cloud arrived late and never fully clicked. There were holes everywhere on that roster, and Tibbetts found a way to scheme through the playoffs anyway and get them to the championship. That's not just good coaching, that's elite coaching. That should be earning him job security, not a pink slip. But instead, he's likely getting fired because the front office built a roster that doesn't work, and the guy they're paying max money to run the offense is putting up empty numbers on a losing team. Some smart franchise is going to scoop Tibbetts up after Phoenix cuts him loose, and he's going to win somewhere else. That's just how this league works sometimes. Coaches take the blame for front office mistakes, especially when the alternative is admitting you handed a max deal to the wrong player. Think about that for a second. You're supposedly one of the best players on the planet, and your own team can't even give you away. They can't find one single partner willing to take on your contract. And maybe that's the real issue. Maybe if Phoenix actually treated her like a negative asset instead of a max contract centerpiece, some team out there would bite. But make no mistake, at this point, Alyssa Thomas is a negative asset. Doesn't matter what she used to be. And it's gotten so desperate that Phoenix is now reportedly looking at a trade for Azura Stevens, which would honestly be one of the worst contracts in league history. Trading one bad deal for another bad deal just to look like you're doing something. Stevens is making max money while averaging 4 points a night with barely any defensive impact. For points, on a max deal, that's not role player money. That's supposed to be cornerstone money. The fact that Phoenix is even entertaining this shows exactly how desperate they've become. When you're willing to swap disasters just to create the illusion of progress, you've completely lost the plot. This isn't roster management anymore. This is panic, plain and simple. And even if they somehow pull that trade off, none of the real problems go away. Same bad spacing. Same max player who can't shoot. Same locker room dysfunction. Same capped out roster with zero flexibility. So let's really dig into what untradeable means here, because this isn't just about teams being picky. This is the entire league looking at the same film and reaching the same conclusion Phoenix apparently missed. Thomas's game simply doesn't translate to winning basketball anymore. She's 29, and in WNBA years, that's right around when decline usually kicks in. The explosiveness she had 3 years ago isn't there. The defense that used to be her signature has slipped hard. She's not quick enough anymore to stick with elite guards, and she's not big enough to consistently battle true post players either. So what's left? A player whose whole identity is playmaking. Except the numbers show that playmaking is mostly surface level. She's not breaking defenders down. She's not creating advantages out of nothing. She's running handoffs and making the safe, easy pass. That's a solid role player skill. It is not a max contract, franchise centerpiece skill. And trade value in this league is brutally simple. It's about what you've done recently, not what you did years ago. Nobody cares that she made all WNBA first team back in 2023 if she's putting up hollow stats on a bad team right now. Teams look at current production and future outlook, and both of those are flashing red for Thomas at the moment. When trade talks completely dry up like this, it means other front offices are watching the same tape, seeing the same drop-off, and landing on the same verdict. That contract is a burden nobody wants to inherit. Nobody's lining up to tie up max money in a player whose prime is clearly behind her and whose game doesn't fit where the league is heading. So Phoenix is stuck. Trading her isn't happening because nobody wants the deal. Buying her out would be a massive financial hit. Benching her means paying max money for someone glued to the bench. And running it back is pointless because they already know it doesn't work. This is exactly what happens when you pay for reputation instead of production, when you commit long-term money based on past accolades rather than where a player is heading. The WNBA has gotten sharper, more analytical, way more focused on spacing and shooting. Players who can't knock down shots and can't generate real offensive value are getting exposed fast. Thomas is being exposed right now. Phoenix is being exposed right now. And the rest of the league is watching this whole thing play out as a warning sign about the risk of overpaying aging veterans. Now zoom out for a second. If someone considered the second best player in the entire league just 2 years ago can become completely unmovable this fast, what does that say about how shaky star power really is in this sport? What does it say about how important it is to keep developing your game? Thomas never added a jump shot. She never grew her offensive toolkit beyond what worked for her early on. And now that the league has passed her by, she's turned from an asset into a liability. The Ben Simmons comparison isn't only about the missing jumper. It's about what happens when a player's flaws get so big they cancel out everything they're good at. Simmons was a phenomenal defender, an incredible passer, a strong rebounder, but refusing to ever shoot made him unplayable in big moments. Eventually, teams decided his strengths just weren't worth the baggage. Thomas is walking that exact same road. The only difference: Simmons was young, with time to supposedly still grow. Thomas is 29. This is who she is at this point in her career. There's no shot development magically arriving now. No sudden offensive reinvention. What you see is what you're stuck with: a fading player on a max deal who actually makes the offense worse just by being on the floor. So where does Phoenix go from here? At some point, they're going to have to make a move, even a bad one, because standing pat would be organizational malpractice. Maybe some desperate team eventually takes Thomas off their hands if enough picks or young talent get thrown in. Maybe they convince themselves a coaching change fixes something that clearly isn't fixable. Or maybe they just accept a few rough seasons while these contracts slowly expire. Whatever direction they go, this is shaping up to be one of the wildest front office collapses this league has seen in years. They mortgaged the future on a win-now gamble that was never realistic, damaged relationships with franchise icons along the way, and now they're left holding nothing but deadweight contracts and a locker room in shambles. And for Alyssa Thomas herself, this has to sting. Going from all WNBA first team to completely untradeable in under 2 years is a brutal fall from grace. The league has moved past her style of play, the numbers have exposed the cracks, and unless something changes drastically, which doesn't look likely, her legacy is going to be defined by this collapse instead of everything she built before it. The WNBA keeps getting smarter, faster, and more efficient. Players who can't evolve get left behind. Franchises that overpay for the past instead of planning for the future end up paying a heavy price. And teams that panic chase a championship without checking if the pieces actually fit end up exactly where Phoenix is sitting right now, stuck with dead contracts, no direction, and a fan base that has every right to be furious. So here's the real question. Is there any way back for Phoenix? Or is this the beginning of a multi-year rebuild nobody saw coming? Drop your take in the comments. Hit subscribe so you don't miss how this story unfolds. And let's see if this franchise can actually find a way out of the hole they dug for themselves.